where now these days I'm not just like going to my phone and going Google, yes, that's for me, buy, purchase, thank you very much, goodbye.
It'd be nice if they did.
It would be nice, you know.
A lot simpler world we could live in, but it's not. It's more complicated than that.
Welcome to Under the Hood.
Welcome back to another edition of Under the Hood with this gentleman over there, Gabe McCarthy.
Oh,
that's you, my.
me.
That's you. Yes, it is. Oh my, it's
Stop.
you.
Stop.
And myself, Tony Eades, as always, in the wonderful Bella Vista Hotel podcast studio at a secret location. But I've given away Bella Vista, so it's not very hard to find where we are. Come on down. The more the merrier.
Don't Google that. It's secret. But no, we are at the Bella Vista. Thank you for having us. And this is our 14th episode.
Oh my goodness, how time flies.
So
what have we been talking about for 14 episodes?
I forgot that we even did previous episodes until I went on YouTube and realized, oh, look at that catalog. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Season 2 of Under the Hood. There's 13 other episodes you can check out, which are all just delicious.
And if you want, if you're a busy man like I am and you've got time to sit through 14 hours worth of stuff, there is a best of that you put together, which was really good. So the best of little clips.
Yeah, check that out.
It's not very long because there's not many best parts.
We kind of ran out after episode 4. We went, oh, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah.
But no, look, if you, like Tony said, want to check those out, do so on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed there, make sure to like and comment on this video and give us feedback. Let us know what you think if you've been checking out the show or if you're seeing it for the first time. Welcome.
Only positive feedback. Anything negative we delete.
We'll delete.
Hide.
We'll cancel you.
Yes, that's how rough and tough we are. Anyway, let's get on to this episode because I know people just sit there thinking, when will they start? And we're going to start right now. So we're talking about consumer life cycle lies you've been led to believe. What's truth or what's a lie? We're going to share with you a little bit of the truth, I think. Or we're telling lies for the whole episode.
Well, you are on the internet, so you know, it's a roll of the dice. But no, this does come from a topic that's very close and passionate to both our hearts because we are ingrained in this at Salted Stone every single day with all our clients when we talk about inbound and life cycle stages and all that methodology that's built around that.
Okay. So let's start.
I'm do it.
Start. And as always, 10 minutes on the dial, and we try and stick to that. Sometimes we just waver on a little bit. And then later on, our toolkit segment, where we rummage around in the tech toolkit that we both have. But right now, let's start the timer and get in with this consumer life cycle. First question for you. What lies have you heard around the tech term lead?
Now, this is interesting.
This is someone you continuously sell to. It's got a heartbeat. Surely it wants to buy something.
Yes, every single person that contacts you wants to buy from you, which is, you know, even when you say that, it sounds weird, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't sound right. It didn't sit right anymore, especially in today's age where there's so much consumer-led information available to you. And honestly, most of the time, you're just wanting there to browse, check out, educate yourself, maybe download something, watch something, whatever.
It's like the shop, you know, the old traditional retail shop where you go in there and you think, oh, I might just go in and have a bit of a browse for a new pair of jeans. As soon as you walk in there, can I help you? What are you looking for? And it's kind of like, no, back off. I'm just looking. I'm just browsing. You know, digital is no different.
Exactly. And it's in the digital realm. Think about it in less traditional terms of wanting to be sold to immediately. And it's just someone looking to educate themselves. That, in a general term, is what a lead is now classified as. Whereas then there are other life cycle stages and different names to them also. And in order, they are subscriber, lead, MQL, SQL, opportunity, customer, evangelist or promoter, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, brand promoter or whatever. Yeah, and underpinning that or overarching that from the HubSpot lifecycle stages are reach, which is where you're going to be bringing people in that are strangers, hoping them to become subscribers. The acquisition stage, which is really when someone is reaching out, you're doing the intro call, which is probably the lead kind of stage. Conversion, which kind of brings in the MQL that they're starting to really get serious about.
Marketing qualified lead, in case you're not sure what that term means. Marketing qualified lead.
And SQL is?
Sales qualified lead.
Which is the next one down. And then obviously opportunity says what it is. And then they become a customer. Then you move into the last two stages, which is retention, because you want to retain the customers. And I had a fantastic stat here. As many as 44% of businesses fail to measure their retention rate. That's almost half of businesses don't measure their retention rate.
Really?
Fail to measure the customers they're losing or the retention rate. And interesting enough, there is a 60 to 70% chance, they reckon, of selling to an existing customer. So you're missing out on reselling to an existing customer at least 3/4 of them.
See, that's what really boils my blood is like people undervalue their current customer base, because you think about it, like it seems like all the time it's like more leads, please. It's that top of funnel, like dig them in, get them, send out ads, send out social, in the hopes of just casting a wide net and try to grab all. Whereas like if you took a more like focus to like sell to one as opposed to 1,000, your actual retention rate towards the end that you were saying when you get there is going to be so much more prolific for you, because you've nurtured this person and then you don't have to resell them. You've already sold them. Now just upsell them by like that relationship that you have, which then comes into the form of them retaining loyalty, which is your final
loyalty, which is the brand ambassador and all that kind of stuff. But you know what I blame, based on what you were just saying, is the funnel itself, because the funnel's huge at the top. So I think mentally people look at it and go, I've got to keep filling this funnel. And they forget that the real gold is in the bottom pointy end of the funnel.
Especially like in that middle stage, the MQL, SQL stage, where, they're still just wanting to self-educate and not be like that analogy you put about being in the shop, being, hounded about, do you want to try on these shoes? Do you want to blah, blah, blah? It's like, no, I just want to look around and find what's right for me. And that is ultimately the mentality that we're trying to impress on people, is that not every person that contacts you wants to be nurtured directly by a sales rep. Sometimes, and here's the benefit of using a platform like HubSpot, is use automation to do that for you. Take the pressure off yourself and your team by just making nurtures happen automatically for them and making them not invasive, like, make them natural feeling and helpful and educational.
I think so. And I think, it goes back to, because again, talking about that pointy end, which is why the HubSpot flywheel makes more sense, because it's a lot more even than this big funnely thing at the top. But talking to an audience of one, making it personalized, right? Because as you start to look at the data from reach to acquisition to conversion, you should be learning more and more about the needs of this prospect that's going to become a customer, and only giving them the information that they need to bring them to that next stage, not a one for many type of approach.
Exactly.
Which still happens. People send me stuff and I think that's not relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you think about it, like if you're able to, in your CRM, discern all the details of an individual as to what their likes are, interests are, what they previously had read or looked at, and then, send them something that is very specific and attuned to that, you can think like the open rates, the click-through rates, just going to skyrocket. So,
and it's so important because, again, stat by Forbes did a survey, 74% of respondents make purchases based on their buying experience.
There you go.
So exactly what you're saying, that's what backing it up, that and if you make it personalized and an enjoyable buyer experience, they're going to buy more.
Exactly.
Funny enough, it's not rocket science.
It's not. And that's where the point of context matters, right? Context is everything. And that's the biggest next point of what we're going to talk about, is why you should be doing this. And it's all about context. It's you as an individual, wherever you are, what your actions are that led you to that point. And you think about it, there's that omni-channel experience you were talking to before, right? Where now these days, I'm not just like going to my phone and going Google, yes, that's for me, buy, purchase, thank you very much, goodbye.
It'd be nice if they did.
It would be nice,
A lot simpler world we could live in, but it's not. It's more complicated than that.
So much more complicated. I go on my phone and then I get distracted by an ad on Instagram, because I went to Instagram just to chill out, and I went to an ad, some shoes, no thank you, leave, come back, go back again and get an ad for it, go away, come back, and then, see a video that I'm watching on YouTube, and then, then another ad, and I leave, and then, then I subscribe maybe to the YouTube one, and then I get sent into the nurture, and it goes to my email box now, and then there's a deal, a sale, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to grab those shoes, and then, that's there was so many different platforms, so many different time periods,
touch points. And if your brand isn't across all those touch points, that's the omni-channel experience, then there's a chance that they go onto a channel where you're not present, and they go down a different rabbit hole with a different provider, and you lose the deal altogether, or they don't proceed down the life cycle stages you want them to.
Yeah, and it's also just like we were saying before, so important to talk about context because not all your personas and defining your personas and your foundations for your business, understanding if they're going to be on those platforms, again, is important. Like, don't set up a TikTok and then do ads to TikTok to an audience that doesn't exist there for your brand or product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, just choose the platforms that are right for you and make sense to your audience.
I think so. And I think the other reason why we want to make sure that people go through those different life cycle stages we're just talking about is the data, right? Because every piece of the puzzle, we're learning more and more about those prospects. And interesting enough, they reckon, again, 78% of brands say they struggle with what they're calling data debt, which is an interesting term I haven't heard before, data debt. Or not having enough quick data about the customers to launch relevant personalization tactics. So again, if you don't know enough about it, you're just going to resort to the one-to-many kind of approach. It's not relevant. They're going to tune out. They're not going to be as connected to you to continue down that life cycle. So use the data like a good CRM, HubSpot, for example, all the way through, and then you can track what they're doing and understand. Big Brother data. Love it.
Big Brother data, as they call it, yeah. And look, you know, there's also a sense of when you are entering those contacts into your pipeline as well. In particular, creating a false economy is something I see continuously, whereby every single contact enters a pipeline, and then you have 1,000 inquiries each month, but only 2 sales. But that's not reflective of your actual sales process, is it?
Well, they've all come from TikTok because you put your ad out there. They're not relevant.
But that's a false economy, and it's false reporting. And you go back to your team with that and go, wow, we only had a 1% conversion rate last month. Like, I felt we did better.
Blame the sales team. The marketing team did all right. They brought 1,000 leads in. What's going on?
But that's not really fair, is it? And it really should be only opportunities that enter in your pipeline. You know, your SQLs when you qualify in the sales process, and then they enter in your pipeline to be sold to. And that's when they convert from an opportunity to a customer. And that's why it's super important to understand your life cycle stages and not be led lies about what one means versus another.
Yep. So what else should we be doing, you know, to kind of fix up this, all these problems that people are having?
Well, targeting is a big thing, right? Before your customers discover your company, you need to determine who they are. So first of all, like we said, target an audience specific. That is an audience of one, not many, right? Develop those out through doing persona mapping, define your personas.
We talk about that so many times, like it's knowing who you're selling to, but then how you're selling by not just the persona, but then the buyer journey and all that kind of stuff that comes with it.
And learn from all your insights, not just your data, but like from your people too. Learn from your sales reps, your marketers about those personas so that they understand them more intimately probably than the data shows. So that's why it's important not to disconcern the actual human touch, right? The human touch is so important. You know, humans to humans, AI and tools, they're all just pathways towards another human, right? Lead scoring, interaction measuring, and analysis. Lead scoring basically encompasses that. It gives scores based upon people's activity. So if I click a post, if I open an email, it gives me a score. The higher the score, the better my lead score is, the more likely I am to buy, basically. So having that mapped out and in your system, like HubSpot, which offers lead scoring natively. Get onto that.
And I think also looking a little bit deeper at the actual content you put out.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Just in time. Last point, Tony.
Well, I think what happens is you put content out, you do all the right thing, you make it personalized, you understand your persona, you write it for them, you put it out there, but it just might not be quite relevant or how it's put together. Like a video might work better than an ebook or something like that. So looking at the open rates, the downloads, how long people look at it for, that kind of data I think sometimes is missed because if you have good results in that, you want to do more of that content. Because obviously that's what your audience wants and less of the stuff that they don't want.
So true. So true. Yeah. And the final point I'll just add on top of your point, and when people are acquisitioning your content, downloading it, clicking it, whatever, is whatever those touch points are and the way you're able to track them, like through a form, through a CTA click, have automation in place to attribute them the correct lifecycle stage, right? If they're going to go to your blog and subscribe to the blog, they're a subscriber, pure and simple, right? But if they then go on and do something else, like they download an ebook or a case study, maybe they become a lead, or they attend an event, then they're an MQL, then they reach out to you for a sales call, then they're an SQL. You know, making sure that every touch point that's available to them, you have automations in place that basically goes, yep, you're a, you know, and that's it.
And also the other way, like people coming to your website, having things like a knowledge base. So, that will help for SEO, so they can find the content that's on your knowledge base. You can answer a lot of questions without them having to reach out. They can actually make some of their buying decisions to help them down the life cycle stages to the next stage.
It can cover multiple. That's the great thing about knowledge base. I'm glad you brought it up because it covers so many life cycle stages.
Yeah, exactly.
It can cover nearly every single life cycle stage, if not all of them.
Yeah. So there you go. So all you need to do is get a knowledge base to start with. HubSpot has that built in because, you can cover everything across all of those different stages, from people reaching out all the way through to conversion. Now, what can we leave people with? Is there a link, or is there some kind of blog or anything that you've got?
You know exactly what I want to share, Tony.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay,
look, I wrote a case study.
Oh, did you?
I did. It almost won an Impact Award.
It was that close.
So close. But it's cool. I'm very proud of it still. I'm very proud of the team behind it. The case study is called Rejuvenating Plays, HubSpot and Inbound Strategy. It's on our Salted Stone website. Check it out. We'll put the link below. Check it out. Have a read. It's literally just explaining this whole process where they were highly invested in HubSpot and rejuvenating their whole entire lifecycle process for all their customers, from subscribers to customers to evangelists. And, they adopted it fully, and we took them through the whole process and had great results. This was all part of the growth strategy development stuff that we do, Tony, around persona development, buyer journeys, goal setting, building out roadmaps. We worked with these guys for 13 months and build out a roadmap for that. And we checked off every checkbox along the way, and we have great results. And what could help with that is something that might be lying in our...
The TOOLKIT.
Toolkits. Yes.
Now I'll stop.
All right. I think you can go first because I like this one because it sounds very beautiful.
Oh, well, stop.
Gabe is getting in contact there with his feminine side, bringing beauty into Under the Hood in some kind of AI format.
You're speaking as if I didn't already bring beauty to this show, Tony. Beautiful.ai. It's actually very straightforward. There's not going to be much I'm going to actually say that's too in-depth about this.
It's a makeover thing, is it? You can put your picture in and adds lipstick and eyeshadow and... No?
I'm sorry, such technology doesn't exist, at least for me. But no, it's a beautiful AI is AI-generated sales decks. So essentially, pop onto there. I think there's a small fee. There is a free version. Jump onto there and you can generate brand new, beautiful looking sales decks by basically giving it prompts. It's kind of cool, right? It's a bit like you give a blank page, a bit of a prompt to the AI, and you say, hey, talk about these stats, give me an image of like a graph or whatever, add in my logo, etc. And it'll just put it on the page, and there you go. And you can sort of move it around and ask for an alternative. It's really cool and intuitive. And it generates imagery based upon prompts as well. So you can be like, a school bus that's blue, and then it'll put it on there. It's cool.
So this is mainly for sales, like putting sales decks together, or
it's
any presentation?
Prezos in general, right? I think sales is, where the biggest benefit will be from it, because if you think from a timing perspective, it's really important, like you were saying earlier, about getting the proposal out, getting onto the sale. So I think it'll be of most use to the sales reps. But it's not to say you can't use it and hub it for other purposes.
Okay. Well, interesting enough, we both have similar tools this week.
Oh, look at us, a pair of tools.
We have separate toolkits. So we haven't. I haven't had a peek in his toolkit. He hasn't had a peek in mine. Hopefully, who knows? But anyway, so I'm bringing out one of my favorites actually, but a different point of view. Synthesia.io.
I know
which,
this one.
I've created my digital twin that you know about, which you keep getting random videos of. Not me, but my Tony AI. But this one is the PowerPoint to video converter. So when you do presentations, you do a PowerPoint, and then normally after you've kind of presented it, you send a copy of it. But it's normally without you, right? You just send the deck, right?
Oh, okay.
But what this does now is it uses PowerPoint to video converter to transform your plain PowerPoint files into engaging videos in just 5 minutes.
Wow.
So you can, and you don't have to voice it yourself or whatever, because as you know, Synthesia has got like hundreds of avatars. So you choose the right avatar that you want, or create your own, like I have. So you can have yourself. And then what it does is puts the actual voiceover part within and the image of the avatar on the slides.
Wow.
So I will include, again, a little link there so people can see exactly what I'm trying to explain. But there's no video editing required because it's all done within the system. You can create automated presentations using the avatar. Great for the sales process like yours was. A survey by Adweek found that, we're all surveys today, 85% of consumers find video helpful when making a purchase decision. So sending just the deck without a voiceover or an avatar explaining the pages of the deck, I think is a good thing to think about. So, do the presentation live, but then send it so when they're showing other people, they're not trying to do their own random voiceovers or putting a slide up and saying, I'm not sure what that one was for, let's move on.
That's interesting because I've used the platform Vidyard, as you know, to do that. And it's having to then record and
But
go
that's
through
you
the slide,
doing
but
it,
that's
isn't
me.
it? Yeah, no avatar. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, this will be nice to cut out that. You can actually, the two toolkits, you can tie together. Funny
know.
enough. Wow.
And we didn't talk beforehand. It's just
No, that was
random.
actually a weird coincidence.
I know, crazy.
But speaking of weird coincidences, it's such a coincidence that you're here at the end of this episode. And, we appreciate you being here. Make sure you like and subscribe and tune in for our next topic, which we're going to leave as a secret.
Because we don't know.
Shh, you're not supposed to give that away.
Oh, sorry. It's a secret.
It's a secret.
See you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time on Under the Hood. Thanks again, Bella Vista, for having us. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share around. And we'll catch you in the next episode of Under the Hood.